Hi. Okay, so whether you're a Spotify user or not, chances are that you've seen Spotify Wrapped last week, whether it was the news announcement saying that Taylor Swift was unsurprisingly the top artist of the year, or your friends posting and sharing their top artists, the minutes they listened, and obviously the many, many memes online. And now in its 9th year, Spotify has become really a yearly event that both users and creators anticipate. Even some going as far as saying that it's their favorite holiday, which I don't know about, but it's good to hear. For Spotify, Wrapped is a huge undertaking. There's tons of teams and people working on this, and each year we're trying to deliver an experience that our users expect and love. But at the same time, we're trying to deliver new innovations in the experience that champion our brand and our product and create a celebration of our users listening. And while Wrapped may be the biggest and the most recent expression of those ideas, innovation and delighting our users is really at the core of what our product is and what both our product and our marketing teams do at Spotify. My name is Alex Bousquet. I'm an associate director in product marketing. I'm based in Helsinki, Finland, and before joining Spotify, I was working in the gaming industry for a decade. You can see obviously, I had to share my Wrapped share card, a lot of Mac DeMarco last year. And so today, I want to be taking you on our 2023 journey, what we did from an innovation standpoint, and I'm going to be sharing some product and some marketing learnings that hopefully can be useful for all of you. First off, a few facts about Spotify, in case you don't know about us already. We're an audio streaming service that was founded in 2008 in Sweden. We initially started with music, and we expanded to podcasts, and now audiobooks. We have around 574 million users on our platform. Almost half of those are paid subscribers, and we're available in 184 markets. And while today's talk is going to be focusing on our innovation in 2023, Spotify's innovation story goes back to 2008. We've constantly innovated on this product, learning how, why our users want from our product, how they're listening, and so that we can adapt it and bring novelty. And while I could speak to those different innovations on screen right now, there's really two key focus areas that the Spotify team has been focusing on. Firstly, giving users the ability to listen wherever and whenever they want is really the cornerstone of our ubiquity promise. Spotify is available on so many devices right now. We have 2,000 partners, making it one of the biggest device ecosystems that exists, from smart speakers to TVs to gaming consoles to cars to wearables. Another key to our innovation is personalization. The quality of our personalized recommendations are really what sets us apart from the rest, and it's really what our users love from our platform. And it's also the engine at the core of many of our personalized innovations, like personalized sets like Discover Weekly. And ubiquity and personalization, they're really at the core of what we want to deliver as a mission as a company. As it's worded here by Daniel Ek, our CEO, it's really all about unlocking the potential for human creativity by giving 1 million creatives the opportunity to live off their art, and billions of fans the opportunity to enjoy and be inspired by it. Now I'd like to give you a bit more about our team. Consumer product marketing is a small but mighty team of 12 people spread out across 5 time zones, and we really try to bridge the gap between R&D and marketing. What we do is that we're connecting users with our experience. Another way to look at it is this graph. What we're trying to do is we're trying to move users through this funnel, from driving awareness, saying, hey, this thing exists, to educating them on how this product works, to inspiring usage through contextual cues in the app, telling them, hey, maybe you could try this feature right now, to inspiring them to become advocates, for them to talk to their friends, to their loved ones, to share on social media that this feature is worth your time. And then the output to that is things like on-platform messages that tell you about a new feature. It's some of our media and press announcements. And it goes all the way to large-scale out-of-home activations. How we do it is a combination of insights, of strategy, of creativity and execution, but above all, it's about collaboration. It's about, as I said earlier, like bridging together the worlds of product through product development, insights, design, and then working with all of the consumer-facing aspects like customer support, regions or channels or brand team. And within our tool set, we have lots of channels that are available at our disposal for spreading that message. So now let's look back at 2023. First off, I'd like to tell you a bit about AI. And obviously, it'd be very difficult for me to be on this stage today and not mention the words AI. It's probably on your bingo card, so you can already tick that off. And while Spotify is already not a stranger in personalized recommendations or machine learning, because that's what powers our personalizations, AI really ushered a new wave of innovations and tools that we could tap into. But our idea wasn't to just introduce AI for the sake of it, take something off the shelf and try to force it into the app. But instead, we really took a step back and thought about, well, what do we want AI to mean on our platform? What do we want it to support? And so for that, we had a few guiding principles. The first one was it needs to support our mission to creators and listeners. It needs to be about helping creators get to more listeners and listeners discovering content that they love. Then it's about really strengthening our existing product and what our users want from it. So it's about solving existing needs, not about creating new problems. And then from an ethical standpoint, we're really trying to develop experiences and products that would not be technically feasible by humans. We're not trying to take away work from humans. We're trying to create something new that would not be doable from a scale or from a complexity standpoint. So with that, we introduced 2 AI-powered products in 2023. Firstly, we tried to really look at a user problem that maybe some of you have come across. Sometimes our users experience a paradox of choice. It can be really daunting when you're faced with so many options to pick from the Home tab, whether it's diving back into one of your playlists or if it's discovering something new. And that's why we introduced DJ. DJ is a personalized, voice-guided audio experience that's powered by AI and Spotify's recommendations. With one tap, users can start listening right away to an AI-generated DJ, and that DJ guides you through music and cultural commentary. And that takes you from your personalized songs, the personalized sets that you love, as well as new discoveries. Then we also looked at podcasts. If we think about music for a second, music can export itself. It can go anywhere, regardless of the language it's been sung in. The examples with that are obviously that K-pop and Latin music have recently seen a huge rise in popularity, regardless of the audiences and the markets that they're growing in. But podcasts have been constantly blocked by the language barrier. And so we've tried to tackle this to give this opportunity for creators to reach bigger audiences. So in September, we unveiled voice translations, which allows podcast episodes to be translated in other languages, but all while keeping the vocal characteristics of the speakers. So to pilot this new tool, we partnered with 5 top podcast creators on our platform to generate that content and in Spanish, German, and French. And so if you're wondering what that sounds like, well, here's a quick demo.
When you say the word toxicity, how are you defining that? You're saying like toxic chemicals que introducimos en nuestras vidas, en nuestra piel, consumimos, inhalamos, tenemos a nuestro alrededor y que están en nuestros alimentos, etc.
How do you think? O sea, a modo de consejo, ya que lo estamos platicando, a diario, ¿qué opinas sobre los problemas difíciles del mundo?
You don't have to be in show business, but what I've discovered is how fun it is to have the same trabajo y poder hablar de eso todo el tiempo.
So it's pretty convincing. Thanks. So you can see that voice translations, they really help us on our mission. It's all about helping talk creators reach even more audiences. Now they're not limited by the language they're speaking or their guests or the conversations. And it's also opening up all these stories and conversations to a whole new audience who can finally discover them in their own native language. Next, I'd like to move to the importance of telling one simple story. This year, back in March, we announced a number of new features on the Spotify app. And we did that on stage at an event called Stream On. And in addition to DJ, which I've mentioned earlier, we introduced a slew of new updates. We had new home previews that provided a new way for users to preview and listen to snippets of a content recommendation on our home tab. We introduced a new playing mode called Smart Shuffle that dynamically inserts recommendations into your playlist. And niche mixes, which gives users the ability to find a personalized mix for any mood. And so, with so many different innovations launching at the same time, you might be wondering, well, how do we solve for over-communication and message saturation? And so for us, the answer was, again, to step back and just look at all these features and align them with one simple message and one story that we want to tell our users. And for us, the one thing that united these products was really rooted in a product truth and what users love and want from Spotify, which is discovery. So to celebrate discovery, we partnered with our brand team, with our marketing channels, and we worked to develop some marketing activations that tell this story in a really personal, tailored way to our users across all our different channels. So for instance, we had prompts that were personalized to you, trying to engage you with these new features, like trying to discover a mix that we think would be quite fitting for them, or trying out DJ. We also wanted to recognize and celebrate their user journey, whether it was discovering a new genre, or exploring a new podcast, or going to our new live events hub. We also pulled some interesting insights from our data and inserted them into some of our press activations. We worked on social to create a special social series and content, which really tried to drive more awareness and authority in terms of defining niche mixes or niche genres, and also driving users to try and engage with DJ and start their week by discovering and engaging with DJ. We partnered with influencers also to try and amplify our story. So these are just some of the examples, but what you get here is that we're really trying to tie all of these activations to our core promise that Spotify is the best place to discover music, podcasts, and audiobooks. So we're moving from just individual launch announcements for each product in a really clear, simple, concise, consistent message that's rooted within a product truth. Next, I'd like to talk about how we're really trying to look into the real world to inspire some of our product innovations. So I think we've all been there, but I'll set the stage. You're at a social event or a social setting at someone's place, and you're listening to music, and it's one phone connected to one speaker. And if it's your phone, well, you're probably split between different emotions. First, you're not quite sure if you're picking the right music. You're trying to gauge, is this right for the mood? Is this right for the people? Maybe you'll be insistently asking people around you, hey, do you want to play something? Like, do you have a recommendation? What do you want to play? Or maybe you'll be handing your phone, but then you're spending the rest of the evening trying to remember who was the last person who was holding your phone. If it's not your phone, if it's someone else's, then you're probably going to be just dealing with someone else's tastes and music choices. So it's really this reality and real-world problem that we try to solve when we developed a feature like group sessions back in 2020. So group session is really aimed at improving the experience of listening together by allowing several Spotify users to create a session, add tracks to the queue, all from their own devices. And when we launched this group sessions back in 2020, the product was functional, and we had a user base that was quite devoted to it. But there were still some issues with the product. It wasn't quite as polished. It was still quite difficult and hard to use, and we really saw untapped potential to reach a younger and bigger audience. So, 2023, we went back to the drawing board. We reworked the feature, and we reworked the marketing, and it started with first coming up with a new name, which is Jam. Jams is short, it's catchy, it's easy to remember, it's not technical. We made a number of improvements to the feature. We made it easier to create and join a session. Now you could join a session by scanning a QR code, by tapping your devices or sharing a link. Your guests would receive a link, they tap it, they get into the app, and then they can start joining the session. From there, everyone can control. And we also solve this other issue, which is, okay, great, you've got a session going, but what track should you play? Everyone's going to be judging your track. So for that, we called upon personalization and the strength that we have there. And we made sure that we could provide group recommendations, which are songs that we know you and your friends like, so you're more likely to just pick the right song, and we're removing that stress. Jam really taps in the reality of music listening. It's a social and bonding activity, especially for a younger audience. And our product helped enhance that experience. So within our marketing, we really try to make sure that we express that idea and these benefits really clearly. We try to stay away from jargon and being too technical, and instead, we try to focus on the human experiences that it unlocked. So a good example of this is actually within our launch video, which we can take a look right now.
This isn't your usual hang. This is different. This is Jam. Instead of one person always in charge of the music, Josh. Now everyone can share the queue. Just join and add your song. And if you need inspiration, we've got you. Nice. So now, if you hang together, you can jam together on Spotify.
Cool. All right, and finally, my last point is about building products with user advocacy in mind. So you might remember earlier I showed this timeline, this graph, right, of this importance of taking users through these different steps. And really, this last one, instilling advocacy, is really the penultimate goal, right? Every marketer in their go-to-market plan want users to be talking about the product. You can craft a message that's personalized, that's tailored, and reach them on all these different channels, but really there's nothing that's more powerful than a friend that's showing you their device and showing a new feature that they've just tried out that they're passionate about, whether that's in person or if it's on social media. And Spotify is a product that users love talking about and sharing content from. It not only maintains Spotify's share of voice, but it really drives this product awareness, and it helps us reach even more users and broaden the awareness of a product to even more users. But you can't just hope for users to share and talk about your product. Instead, you really have to build products and think about the experience and what are going to be the reasons for users to share this product and share it. So the idea of sharing and user advocacy really took root and really took place in the development of Daylist. Daylist is a personalized playlist that updates 6 times a day, 7 times a week. And it's really based on your listening habits and moods throughout the week. And the result is that it's an ever-changing playlist that always manages to touch the spot, fitting the mood and your listening diet. But beyond just evolving the track list, what we did is also we made sure that the playlist has a unique playlist name with keywords that are pulling from the mood, from the genres, from the time of day. And what the result is it's unique, weird, and sometimes very funny playlist names that our users really enjoy sharing with their friends. And that, in turn, gets their friends to look up the feature and try it out and become advocates themselves. So this same logic is really at the core of Spotify's wrapped data stories that I mentioned earlier in the presentation. Wrapped presents users with their listening data in a really fun and engaging way. And what it does is it really provides a canvas for expression for users and to express their own listening habits, their own listening identity to the world. So that packs up our innovation story for 2023. It was a year that was filled with milestones for our product and learnings from a marketing and a product perspective, which I hope was useful for you. For 15 years, Spotify has been soundtracking the lives of our users' lives. And we're helping them discover everyday content that they love and share it with their friends and with their loved ones. And although our product constantly needs to grow and evolve, we're trying to stay true to that core promise when we're thinking about innovations. because it's all about enhancing a product that in return users can continue investing in, recommending, and sharing each day. Thank you.